Well, Thomas, I think whoever's in our heads who's helping with speeches or speech development, it must be talking to each other because it's almost a ditto here. We were joking before, Alicia and I were talking, and by the time this is over, by the time we get finished with the stump, we'll be able to give each other speeches because we'll be doing this so many times. Let me start by also recognizing our current Congressman, Jeff Davis, and his beautiful wife, Pat. What a wonderful job you've done representing us. And we thank you from the bottom of our heart for your service to our country so many times, and definitely for this latest. We know your work with the REINS Act, and we know what we faced in our communities. Thank you for your leadership, and we hope to continue to carry on what you started with the REINS Act. And Pat, for your work in the community, thank you so much. We've come a long way since those days of working on law enforcement studies that resulted in the merger of our law enforcement in Boone. Your work with Joy on CASA, working to defend and promote the awareness of child abuse and neglect. So thank you very much. You know, I come before you tonight to ask for your support. I come to ask for your vote for this tremendous responsibility. The whirlwind that the congressman calls when he made his announcement just before the holidays is something that my wife Joy and I quickly began to pray about. And it was over that prayer that we decided this is where we needed to be, that I needed to be in this race, and that I needed to fight to represent the people of the Fourth. Let me tell you a little about myself. I was born and raised in Pendleton County. I was born on a farm. My dad was a small-time farmer, beef cattle, tobacco, corn, and there's where I learned the hard work of working on a farm, being raised in that situation. My mom died when I was young, and my dad was elected county sheriff a few years later. I would ride the school bus to the county courthouse, and at the end of the day, my dad and I would leave the courthouse, go out to the farm, and work till dark. It was his public service where I learned to give back to the community, to serve the community, and that there was a greater calling. I lost him last year, and what an inspiration he was in my life. My wife, Joy, is a Moorhead State grad and a former special education teacher, and she and I moved to Boone County shortly after we married. There, I've served in business for 35 years. Even while serving as judge executive, I stayed in the private sector with a business responsibility in the building supply industry, an industry that's been extremely hard hit during this economic downturn. It's there where I learned the principles of balancing a budget and making sure that you were spending less than you were taking in. Those basic principles of business. I took that with me to county government, and let me rattle off a few things that we've done. As judge executive, over my tenure, property taxes are 7% lower than when I took office. Never applied a new tax during my tenure. Cut $4 million from the budget since 2008 through privatization, through fewer county employees, and again, spending less than you're taking in. During this same time, 12,000 new private sector jobs have been created in Boone County with an investment of $1.4 billion to the local economy. The results, 7.5% unemployment, one of the lowest rates in the state, definitely below the state average and the national average, and one of the best bond ratings of any local government in the state. While we were being upgraded for our credit standing, the nation and our state was being downgraded. All of this at a time when our residents are really clamoring for leadership, for a better economy. All of this while long-term unemployment rates are raising. American businesses are sending jobs overseas, and spending is increasing. And yes, President Obama is blocking the Keystone Pipeline and its 20,000 jobs. Told you there were some similarities. How do you explain all of these accomplishments during a bad economy? It's because of the businessman approach that I took to local government that we've been able to accomplish these things and do what we've done. Less government is the best government. Obama can pass all of the stimulus plans he wants, but in the end, we know they don't work. I understand what will work, and that's lower taxes, balanced budget, less red tape and government bureaucracy. Washington needs a common sense approach, and that's what I'll take with me as your next congressman. I am Gary Moore, and before Jill gets in my lap, I'm going to stop. And I do ask for your vote on May 22nd. Thank you, and God bless America.